Hey guys, it's XayLi Barclay of XayLiBarclay.com, and this is the 1,000th time that I have tried to start a podcast. If you're here and you're listening, I've tried this before. I would start and then I would stop. Actually, now that I think about it, me being a video sales and marketing coach is one of the best things ever because video is really my only constant. I don't know why. I just can't stick to podcasting, but it's something that I love. I love listening to them, and I also feel like I always have a lot to say. We are going to just talk today. This is the first episode of this sprint of podcasting. Let's see if I can actually stick to it. So just to give you some context, it's December 29th, 2020. 2020 has been a crazy year. Now I might sound like I'm whispering because I'm in the studio, but it's also 11:46 p.m. So it's really late at night, but I just had some things on my chest. And I wanted to talk about just one, how crazy this year has been. I know that if you're listening, it's crazy for you as well. So I don't have to go too deep into that. But even though this year has been crazy, I have such clear vision for the first time, like such clarity in what I want to accomplish in the next 5 years. And that's absolutely amazing. I'm pretty excited about that. But I want to talk about where I am now. So some more context. I am in Dallas, Texas. I'm a far cry from where I started. So I was born in Trinidad and Tobago. I am from Trinidad, which is a tiny island in the Caribbean, if you don't know. And I came to the U.S. on a scholarship. So I came to the U.S. to go to college, and I would say 18 years old at that time. And I lived in New York forever. Now I'll tell you, New York is my favorite city. I absolutely love it. But I left New York because I needed a change. I needed a huge change. I was 2 years into building my business full time, and I needed a change. New York has a lot going on. Anxiety in New York is on 1,000 just because it's New York City. And it's just a lot going on in New York City. And I remember that I asked one of my students in my academy, Cole, the natural Cole, LaShonda Patrick. I asked Cole, what is Dallas like? And she said, XayLi, it's nothing like New York, meaning, girl, do not come to Dallas. And I said, I'm coming. And I did. I had never been to Texas. I had never been to Dallas. But I knew that I needed a change. And I'm going to bring this back around as we talk some more in this episode, because there's some things that I really want you to hear that might impact you and how you are feeling right now. Yeah. And so I got on a flight. I actually got on the internet. I got to typing, I found an apartment in Dallas, and I locked myself into a 16-month lease, and I dipped. So in 30 days, I said I was going to move to Dallas, and I did it, right? So it's so crazy now that I'm saying that. Why can't I say that I'm doing a podcast and just do it? It's so crazy, but I did it, and I would say it's one of the best things that I have ever done. Coming to Dallas definitely was a game changer for me. And I'll tell you a bit about what happened when I got here. I think that when I got to Dallas, I didn't realize what the heck I was doing. I didn't realize that I was going to be away from friends and away from family and away from everything that I knew until I got here. And so I got here in October, which means the holidays came right after, obviously, because time waits for no one. And although I came to Dallas right before the holidays, I didn't realize it was such a big step, and it was such a fearless step at the time because I really wasn't scared. I was so hungry for change, or so hungry for something new, or so hungry for focus. And so when I got here, I think I had met up with Cole like once, And that meant that I had a lot of time. First of all, let me set the scene some more. I am an introvert. I am also an only child. And so I have no problem being by myself. But in moving to Dallas, that was amplified even more because I was really by myself. I was really like by myself. I would be in my apartment a lot. So I always say I was born for quarantine. You know what? A podcast is really, it leads for a lot of transparency because I will tell you that I ordered all of my groceries. I would have it dropped off at my door, and I hardly ever left my apartment. But that gave me some time to really think. So I spent the next 3 months just trying to figure out who I was, away from the buzz of New York City, away from my friends and my family and all of those things. And I had so many revelations. And it brings me back to quarantine now, which is almost 3 years later. And how much just sitting in stillness, how much clarity it can bring to you if we decide to do it. But at that time, I was alone. So I had a blank slate. I was able to redefine my life. I was able to redefine what I wanted. I was able to dig deep into myself through meditation, through journaling, through so many things. And so many of those things I'm bringing back into 2021 because they helped me figure out who I was so much and just sitting in stillness. And I'll tell you one thing, which kind of comes back to something I said before. I made the leap. I was fearless. I wanted change. And I got to Dallas and I didn't realize what I had done until I got here. And so when it got really lonely, which was just not normal for me because I enjoy being by myself a lot, I read in my downtime. And so I was reading Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice. I'll tell you something funny. One of my ex-boyfriends gave me this book years ago and I never read it until I got to Dallas. Like I started reading it and never finished. But when I got to Dallas, I had so much quiet time. And a lot of people don't know that version exists. So obviously we know Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, one of the best reads ever. But there's A Black Choice. That one is absolutely amazing. And if you have not read it just yet, if you're a person of color or a Black person, definitely tap into it. But yes, I dug deep into that book. And I had so many questions within myself. And one thing that I got out of that book, and it was plain as day, and it said that you cannot, first of all, it said elevation requires isolation. And the second thing that was said was, which was so good, was you can't grow until you leave home, until you leave what you know, and until you leave what is familiar to you. You will never grow until you do something like that. Like the people that do things like that grow the most. And that's when I realized I made the right decision to move to Dallas. I'm not asking you to move to Dallas and leave all of your family and friends, but sometimes doing something way outside of our comfort zones just brings the most rewards. Not even sometimes. It definitely brings the most rewards. I don't know. Write down something that you want to do that is completely outside of your comfort zone and think about what it would be like to actually do that. But yeah, that book definitely had a huge impact on me then. And it's so crazy that I've recently picked it up again. Now, I've picked it up over the years. So I've been in Dallas for 3 years, but this time I'm diving so deep into it. And I'm also reading the original version, which is by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. So A Black Choice, that version is supplemented by Dennis Kimbro, who is the other author. And I'll probably figure out how I can put that in the show notes. Like I said, today I just needed to talk. And so I'm here talking with you guys. So I'll figure out show notes and things like that. Just transparency. This is what it is. I'm just talking. But yes, we'll link both books. But I'm reading both books right now. But it's just confirming so much. And it just shows you, like, for me, I have to read a book over and over. A lot of times I'll miss things, and it's because we're always in different places or different situations. And so things hit harder than they would have probably the first time you read it, or you might miss something again. I don't know what book you need to read, but pick up a book and read it over and over again. So we're moving into 2021. I have so much clarity. And then I picked up this book. So it's so crazy. First of all, let me step back and just say that I think it's natural. It's just probably human nature for us to want to reset for January 1st. So like I said, today is December 29th, and I have been in organization mode for the past 2 weeks. I have been gutting all of my stuff. I have been revamping all of my systems. I have been looking at my website with a side eye, like, you need to be refreshed, girl, or you need to be updated for all the things that I'm doing in 2021. I think it's just innately in us, or it's probably intuition and us knowing that the new year is coming and we want a fresh start. And for me, I like getting a head start so that by the time January hits, I'm not like, where have I been? So I've been just working on mindset, working on organization, working on just being intentional with all that I am. And so that's put me back into journaling. It's put me back into goal setting. And it's put me back into so many things that I was doing when I first moved to Dallas, because I had a fresh slate. I had a clean slate to do whatever I wanted. And I feel like that right now. I wanted to share that. I wanted to share a bit about just how I got to where I am and what I'm doing right now. And so for the new year, I am definitely going 100% into the Start Shoot Grow Video Academy. I'm so excited about that. I have been working so hard on that endeavor, working hard on bringing you guys new, fresh content. If you're on YouTube, you can see how much we've been doing there. It has been absolutely amazing. And I think that one thing that I did when I moved to Dallas was I didn't give myself room for a plan B. And this is not for everyone. But I will tell you, in reading over Think and Grow Rich right now, one thing that I'm getting is the story between two people in the book. Thomas Edison is one, and the other person is, so this is in the beginning of the book, just for some context. The other person is Mr. Barnes. So Edwin C. Barnes. He moved because he wanted to work with Mr. Edison. And I'm probably just giving like a really brief synopsis here of the story, but Mr. Barnes moved because he wanted to work with Mr. Edison. He wanted to be Mr. Edison's business partner. And in doing that, he got on a train, so a freight train, and he moved. And okay, this is future editor XayLi tapping in because I want to give some more context to this story. So Mr. Barnes actually could not afford to travel to where Mr. Edison was. So he stowed away on a freight train. 1. 2, he knew he was not qualified to be Mr. Edison's business partner because he didn't have any experience. But all in all, what it says is that he knew what he wanted. And even though he didn't get that on day one, he kept persisting. He kept working and he kept showing his persistence and his desire to win. And eventually he got the opportunity to show Mr. Edison that he was capable of something that everyone else could not do. You got to read the book for yourself. But for me, the lesson in it was so huge because a lot of times we are looking for quick wins. We're looking for everything to work out instantly. And that's just not how things happen. So that's future XayLi. While I'm editing, I decided to add this in just for some context. I said that like 5,000 times during this episode. But yeah, okay, let's get back into it. He placed all of his energy and all of his willpower into working with Mr. Edison. And so I think what it was at that time, Mr. Edison was huge and Mr. Barnes wasn't really anyone. And Mr. Barnes met Mr. Edison, and Mr. Edison realized his determination and his desire. It's so crazy that Mr. Edison gave Mr. Barnes a chance on meeting him first just because of what he saw in his eyes. He saw definite desire. And the crazy part was that Mr. Barnes left his hometown and he left himself no possible way of retreat. He either had to win or perish. And when I think about my move from New York City to Dallas, I moved with the intention to never move back to New York City because I knew that I wanted a change and I wanted more out of my career, out of my life, out of myself. And I didn't have a plan B. I uploaded videos when I first moved to Dallas and people said, oh my gosh, XayLi, like, how's the job market? And I didn't know because I just doubled down on my business. And I think innately, even while I'm speaking about all of this now, I'm entering a new phase of business and I'm really excited about it, but there's no plan B. And because my desire to win, or my burning desire to win, is so strong, I'm so confident and so excited in just serving new people and serving, giving, and changing the world, because that's what this is all about. But yes, I am excited. I am excited because I'm looking toward the future. And I just want to encourage you, if you're listening, to look toward the future. Like, really try to understand what you want out of your next season. I think I'm going through all of this because it's a new season. It's a clean slate again. I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not working with clients anymore, and I'm diving deep into serving my audience through the Video Academy. So for me, I'm giving my all to that project and to that process. And I know that because of that, because of my burning desire to win and help others win, I know it's going to be pretty exciting. So this was a whole ramble, guys. This is a whole ramble. It is now 12:12 a.m. And I don't know when I'm going to upload next. I don't know what I'm going to talk about next, but I enjoy doing this, and maybe I will talk a little bit more about this. I have so many things to share as it pertains to me moving to Dallas. So many things that I manifested that actually came to life. So many partnerships that I have accumulated over that time. So many doors opened since I moved. And so I'm encouraging you, wherever you are, if you're looking for a real shift in your life, you need to start shifting yourself. So you need to make moves so that those moves can then open up. All right, guys, so I'm about to get off of here. I think I covered, or I touched on, the things that I really wanted to touch on. I think so. I don't know if this all made sense. I love you for listening, and we are going to continue. Let's see how this works out. I'll see you in the next episode. Take care.